I want to be able to take a look at my 23andMe and just use it as sort of like a launching point in which I share with you just a handful of the different countries that came to the Philippines that not only tie my family lineage back to Spain, but also to a couple of other surprising countries. Mabuhay and welcome back to the channel. My name is Tez Milan. I am a Filipina-American creative who is doing a deep dive into all things fabulous and fantastic about Filipinos and Filipino-Americans in the United States, in the Philippines, and around the world. Today, I am literally going to be diving into my heritage because I thought that today I would take a look at the results of my 23andMe saliva test. I actually gifted my family 23andMe kits. I think that they were having a 2-for-1 special at that time. It was probably Black Friday. They were like, here's all these like 23andMe kits. Buy one, get one free. I was like, hey, that's going to make a great Christmas gift. So I did that and I got my mom and I got my sister kits because I was like, well, I don't need to buy myself a kit because if my sister and my mom do it, then more than likely whatever it is that they are, I am too. What happened though is my sister got her results. My mom got a very different result. Granted, it's all predominantly Filipino, right? Because we know that we're from the Philippines. That's no surprise. There was no like, oh my gosh, actually you're 98% European. Nothing like that happened. But they were so different in their combination and also with some countries that showed up for my sister and my mom that didn't show up for the other, that I was like, you know what? I should just do my own test, figure out where exactly I am from the Philippines, as well as what other heritages, is that a word? What other ethnicities and countries are in my blood running through there right now. It's my way of sharing with you the different types of ethnicities and cultural backgrounds that we have in the Philippines because we are essentially a melting pot. Where we're located in the, what sea are we in? Philippines, I don't even know what sea the Philippines is in. The Philippine Sea. Okay, over hundreds of years, many different cultures and countries and people, I wanted to say swim, but they didn't swim there, obviously, but they got on ships and they took to the sea and then they landed on the Philippines. There wasn't just one culture or country that did that. There were many. And I think that the 23andMe results of my mom, my sister, and I really show that. Because of those countries coming to the Philippines, they of course have their lineage of ethnic blending that happened however many years ago. And so they also, as they brought their people to the Philippines, also integrated that into the native Philippine people. So that's why you'll see a lot of other interesting findings in my results. So let's get started. Let me get on the 23andMe app. I want to show you exactly what my results were. And then we can talk a little bit about those heritages and, is that what it's called? Is that even a word, heritages? Plural noun, heritages, yeah. Ancestry, culture, custom, legacy, tradition, right? Culture, ancestry, yes. I want to show you exactly what my results were. We can talk a little bit about how that ties to my Philippine heritage. I hope I said that right. So here we are on the 23andMe app, and I'm going to take a look at my ancestry report, and there I am in all my 100% glory. For the most part, this was not surprising what it is that I discovered. For example, main categories like East Asian and Indigenous America. So that includes Chinese and Southeast Asian. Duh, Southeast Asian, that's what I am as a Filipino. My Filipino and Austronesian ancestry is 92.8%. So I am 92.8% Filipino. Here, I'm gonna dive deeper into the Filipino and Austronesian description. And it says, out of the 18 administrative regions, we found the strongest evidence of your ancestry in the following 10 regions. Number 1, Ilocos, which makes absolute sense because that's where my father's family comes from. The second region is Central Luzon, and that makes absolute sense too because that's where my mother is from. Then the rest is Metro Manila, Calabarzon, Central Visayas, Western Visayas, Bicol, Cagayan Valley, Cordillera Administrative Region, and the Eastern Visayas. As I can see on this map, it's predominantly the northern part of the Philippine Islands. That's where I was told that my family is from. There is an additional 2.1% that is from China. My mom was telling me that her side of the family is predominantly Chinese. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into what it says about my Chinese ancestry. And that says there's a strong possibility that my ancestry comes from Guangdong. Where exactly is Guangdong? I'm going to take a look and see. Guangdong. the Hong Kong region. That is so cool. The other regions that it says that I'm from, Fujian, Shanghai, Shandong, Jiangsu, Zhejiang, Hebei. I really hope that I'm saying these correctly. If I'm not saying them correctly, I'm so sorry. Hebei, Henan, Hainan. Love Hainan chicken. Oh my gosh, Hainan chicken is so good. And Tianjin. I'm wondering where Fujian is. Fujian is a southeastern Chinese province known for its mountains and coastal cities. Again, on the coastline. And then Shanghai, of course, is also Shanghai. That's how I spell it. Shanghai is further north from the Guangdong region, but it is again on the coastline. So I had some ancestor from mainland China who was living on the coastline. They decided to get into a boat, adventure their way down into the southeast of Asia, and landed on the Philippines and decided to stay. That's what I'm assuming is what happened. Of course, I can't go back and ask them directly, but I'm gonna assume that that's what happened. I've got 2.1% of that blood running through me. Here is where it gets really interesting with this whole 23andMe thing. I have 4.8% European, which is not surprising because it's not like it's from Scotland or Sweden. I don't have any ancestry from those areas of the world. It's exactly where I was expecting it to be. It's in Southern Europe, which is where the Spanish and the Portuguese are. My great-grandfather, he, according to my dad, was pure Spanish. Hola. Pure Spanish. And then he married my great-grandmother who was a native, and they had their family. And then my grandfather popped out, dad popped out, I popped out eventually later on. Adios. So the Spanish and Portuguese ancestry does not surprise me. We've got 4.6% of that. Let's just see what that has to say. Okay. Doesn't have to say much. Southern Europe, including the Iberian, Italian, and Balkan peninsulas, as well as the island of Malta, is a region defined in great part by the Mediterranean Sea. The Mediterranean has provided transportation routes, keeping these regions connected culturally and genetically. So again, the ocean. Not surprising there. The Spaniards were in the Philippines for over 300 years, and at some point, a great-grandfather of mine from Spain came over, loved my great-grandmother, and ended up having a bunch of babies with her. Adios. Here's the part that is really, really surprising and blew my mind when I first saw it. And I was like, not that it's a bad thing. I was just like really surprised. I am 0.2% Ashkenazi Jewish. Check it. Right there. No, not there. Right there. Jewish. Which is amazing. Amazing. This is what it says. Tez, your DNA suggests that 0.2% of your ancestry is Ashkenazi Jewish. Ashkenazi Jewish migrated from Western Asia into Southern Europe around 2,000 years ago. Maybe some of them ended up going the opposite direction and went into China. Maybe that's where that comes from. In the Middle Ages, many Jewish people living in Southern Europe moved north, primarily to northeastern France and Western Germany near the Rhine River. Okay, I gotta say something about this really quick. I lived in Germany for 10 years. My dad lived in Germany for several years and got his master's degree there. My mother married my father because she was like, I want to marry somebody who's been to Germany. For whatever reason, she just had this thing for Germany. And my sister is married to a man from Austria, which of course is not Germany, but they're like next door neighbors. So it's like we have some weird connection to Germany. And now that I read that the Ashkenazi Jews made their way into Germany, past lives, I'm telling you. Whether you believe it or not. I just think it's a lot of fun to make those kind of connections. Fascinating. Fascinating. So yes, 0.2% Ashkenazi Jewish. My guess is that at some point, somebody who is from this tribe made their way past Germany into France, into Spain, into Portugal. Those descendants then ended up on a ship that then ended up in the Philippines. That's what my guess is as how I became part Jewish. I'm Jewish. It's so great because I think the Jewish culture is just really fascinating. They're so connected and so dedicated to their heritage and to their culture. Maybe that's where my deep connection to my own heritage comes from. Who knows? Whatever it is, I just think it's really amazing that I am part Jewish. So cool. This is why I'm doing this, because like I'm discovering all kinds of random stuff that I like would never have thought that was a part of who I am. I've also got 0.2% of trace ancestry, and what that means, this says that my trace ancestry ties me to the Iranian, Caucasian, and Mesopotamian culture. That includes Iraq, Iran, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, maybe some like grandmother or grandfather decided to like, you know, get together with somebody who then ended up on a ship in the Philippines. These are all so rich in terms of their heritage and their culture. According to this picture, they're like a mountainous people. It's kind of rugged and it's kind of hard out there in the mountains. So I could see how part of that could just be in me to be like, yeah, I'm gonna conquer this mountain. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make this happen. And that's probably where I get that from. And Yeah. So Iranian, Caucasian, and Mesopotamian, 0.2%. And then I have 0.1% unassigned. So there's something else lingering out there that is undetermined by 23andMe, but that might be just because they didn't have that region tested yet. Or I'll let you in on a little secret. My mom has this like kind of strange theory. So she thinks that I'm actually part alien. So maybe that's what this unassigned part is, that I'm part alien. Maybe. I'll share with you two of the things that my sister shared with me that she found out from her test as well as from the test that my mother had. She said mom is 3% Ethiopian and that my sister has Neanderthal genes. I don't even know what that means. I'm gonna look up and see what exactly does Neanderthal genes mean. Neanderthals have been living in Eurasia for more than 300 millennia when some human ancestors left Africa some 60,000 to 70,000 years ago. So my sister, she's an old soul. It's true. My sister is very much an old soul. That's it for 23andMe. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a little search and see how I can find my Ashkenazi Jewish ancestry. You know, do some search on like how the Jewish population might be somehow related to Southeast Asians. I don't know. Maybe somebody wrote a paper on that. Maybe somebody also discovered that they were part Jewish, even though they were Southeast Asian and were like, whoa, let's like figure out where this all came from and how we're all connected. Who knows? I just find that super fascinating. Who knew I was part Jewish? But now I know. That is it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Let me know what else you want to learn about. Let me know how you connect to other parts of your heritage and ancestry. Have you done a 23andMe test and found out that you were part something else that you had no idea that you were a part of? I would love to learn about what it is that you've discovered about your own heritage. If you are Filipino, what other ethnicities and ancestry backgrounds that you've discovered are there? If it was surprising to you or not, I would love to learn all about that. So leave that in the comment section down below. Let me know what you've discovered. I would love to have a dialogue with you about it. Until then, take care and I will see you next Friday. Fil-Am, goodbye. We're diving deep into the heritage. Heritage time, heritage time, heritage time.